Hello and welcome to Levels Plus Whenever, episode 133. And if this art doesn't give you a hint, we're talking about Fire Emblem today. Specifically, a character ranking video. It's a doozy. It's almost an hour without the intro or the outro. So we're just going to dive right in since I don't have any pickups as of this moment. Enjoy. All right. Welcome to the biggest ranking yet. Street Fighter and King of Fighters combined cannot even remotely touch this list in terms of depth. There's over 600 characters to this Fire Emblem list by Ray Zed on Tiermaker. Thank you for your efforts on making this a thing. Let's do the caveats. This does not include genealogy or Thracia at all, which works for me because I haven't played it. It also doesn't include heroes, which works for me because I haven't played it. It does include Binding Blade, which is 6, the first GBA game, through Engage. So it does include the first game, the second game, and the third game through their remakes. So Shadow Dragon, Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, and New Mystery of the Emblem are all represented. Shadow Dragon and New Mystery of the Emblem are down here at the bottom. And then we've got Binding Blade, Blazing Blade, Sacred Stones, Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, Awakening, all three fates combined, Warriors, the two original characters for that. There's Echoes, there's 3 houses, including 3 hopes, and Engage. Okay, I have done some editing to the basic tier list. It used to have some extra rows, I got rid of them. We're gonna talk about S-rank characters and F-rank characters, and I'll put other characters in between. But if I don't have A, any experience, or B, any memory of this character at all, I'm going to just leave them down below because I don't want to try to remember if I liked them or not, because it's just going to take forever. This is 600 characters. I'm going to likely know at least 200 of them. So this is going to take time, and I want it to be as efficient and clean of a list as possible. Okay. Zama. Zama is the worst Fire Emblem character as far as I'm concerned. I see nothing redeeming about that character at all. I absolutely hate him in Fates. He's terrible. Absolute shitlord of a character. Do not like him. Do not like anything about him. Do not like how he interacts with anyone that he gets within 10 feet of. This is a character that deserves to live on their own on a mountain by themselves and never interact with human beings. Terrible character. Rafal. Rafal, the character that ruined Fire Emblem Engage for me forever. Forever. I don't even know if I could fully put into words how much this character ruined Alear for me. I can't really put into words how much this character ruined Engage, because Engage core game was asinine but tolerable. The plot was really bad. The really bad plot. But at the very least, I didn't hate Alear for being absolutely idiotic until I played the DLC. And then I got really mad at Alear. Rafal is my least favorite character in Fire Emblem that is not named Zama. I just despise this character in every component. Just absolute trash. Gold Mary is my least favorite regular Engage character. She is the purest distilled essence of narcissism that I've ever seen in my life. I hate that feeling of being around a narcissist. I'm an empath. I really do notice that energy, and I don't like being in it. So when Gold Mary was introduced, that's basically all she has, is I am a narcissist, and I hate her. Faye is the worst character in Echoes. Faye is a new character in Echoes. Faye's only character trait is Alm. All of her dialogue could literally be Alm, because that's basically all she thinks about. There's nothing else to Faye about any other component about her character. I'm surprised she doesn't have clothing with Alm's face on it. That's how much she's about Alm. Gilbert is a terrible father, a absolute die-hard devotee to Dimitri, to the point that he sacrifices his relationship with his daughter in order to follow that jerk around. And you'll see Dimitri's down here. I don't like Dimitri. But Gilbert is just an awful character, and every opportunity I get to kill him, I take it. Sorry, not sorry. Fran, and Klon. I have to remember what their names are. The Alear fan club. Butt kissing. The Wonder Twins of annoyance. I cannot stand those two characters. And I really wanted to like Fram because she's got a cool design, but her personality sucks. It's basically these two characters are connected to Faye, but they are all about Alear, and it's the worst. I hate the fanboy girl person archetype in Fire Emblem. It is absolutely annoying. Corrin is a worse Alear. So all the complaints I had about Alear related to Rafal, well, Corrin is worse than Alear in terms of people just falling all over themselves to love that character for no good reason. Two families are literally fighting over her or him, and it's annoying. She doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. Neither of them deserve it. They didn't need 3 games to tell this character's story, because it's absolutely... That's how I feel about Fates. Nauri. She's a Lolita character, and I mean that in the worst possible way. She is a character that is supposedly 100 years old because she's a dragon. And she looks like she's 10. It's really problematic. I do not like that character. Sylvain is the lead of the womanizers. I hate the womanizer trope in Fire Emblem. There's a whole bunch of them down here, followed by Indigo and Awakening and Fates. I hate that archetype so much, and Sylvain is the worst of it. He's my least favorite engage character you can play as in multiple routes. Because you could play as Gilbert in Blue Lions. I am so mad, actually. The reason I'm even doing this video is so I can complain about Sylvain. I am so mad that Amazon has not put up the Dorothea pop-up parade figure yet for pre-order. They put up Sylvain's today before Dorothea, who was out first in pre-orders on other sites. And I am furious. I do not like Sylvain. He is a character that can go die in a fire ant pit. Inigo will be the last one I'm going to get into extensive detail about, but he's basically Sylvain, but clumsier about it. He thinks he's hot shit with the ladies, but he's really clumsy. And I just, again, don't really like the archetype. That archetype continues. What is this guy's name? Pangero. He's a party animal. I don't like him. Jesse, I think, is this character's name. Same deal. This guy, same deal. This guy, kind of same deal. He's just also really egotistical and sexist. Yeah, I'm so done with that archetype in Fire Emblem. It has never been done well. Alright. That's the trash. This is all the dumpster fires of this game. Series, I should say, that I just don't care for whatever reason. Some of them are a lot more innocuous, like they're just boring, or I just think they're creepy, or their trait is so off-putting and bizarre that I just don't understand it. So these are the characters I just don't like. These are the characters that I think are okay. And Alir is probably ranked a little too high in retrospect after complaining about them, so I'm going to slide them down here. I don't hate these characters. I don't love these characters. I really don't feel much about these characters in the grand scheme of things. These are characters that exist, and they're generally fine. Some of them are characters that I would like, except that something is off about them that I just don't care for at all. Or they are just so blah, even though there's elements of their design that I do like. I don't even really want to talk about like the top row, because I don't have anything to say, really. So we're just gonna move on. These are the characters that exist. Alright, welcome to the good tier. These are characters that I think are pretty good. But again, these are characters that I don't have super strong opinions on. I'm glad that they are in the games that they're in. They are great supporting cast for the most part. But they are not the characters that I feel super passionate about, that I really love the series for. They're totally fine. And their inclusion helps with the world building, more so than the decent tier. Alright, here's the great tier. These are characters that I do actually like, but I don't love. These are characters that I think are excellent additions to their particular game that bring something to the table that I actually like, but I don't adore them to the point that I would go out of my way to draw them or buy stuff related to them, that type of thing. The exception to this, of course, is Celica's floating up here. I have her amiibo. Alm's buried down there somewhere because I bought the amiibo before I played the game. But I still like having the amiibo, so I'm not getting rid of them. But I like these characters. I think they're great. But I don't have anything super passionate or strong to say about any of them, honestly. The Amazing tier. These are characters that are so close to being favorites. They're so close, but they're just not quite there for me. There's just a little tiny thing holding them back. There's quite a few Fates characters up here, which, in the grand scheme of how much I dislike Fates, surprises me. But I can genuinely apply the Keita Nash, Eco Batman, Fates playthrough for me liking some of these Fates characters and putting them up this high. There's even a couple Awakening characters that are up here because of their playthrough. Because of the way that they brought life to those characters and the collective fun that we had. I like these characters a lot. But these are not the characters that I love. And I'm not going to get into detail about these either because I really want to save my voice and my passion for the peak characters of Fire Emblem. Here they are, right here at the top. These are the characters that I would go to bat for any day of the week. I love these characters, and I want to explain why I like every single one of them. And I'm going to even say that I absolutely love and adore probably the top 3 rows, going a bit into this 4th row. I love all of these characters in this top set of rows here. They're all fantastic. And again, some of these got inflated a bit because of the Keita Nash Eco Batman playthroughs of Awakening and Fates, but that just makes them better. I love Lynn so much. I have a big statue of her. I have a shirt of her. I have drawn her probably the most out of every Fire Emblem character. I've drawn her like 3 or 4 times, I think. I think she's just phenomenal. I am a Lynn stan, and I will never sell Fire Emblem Warriors because Lynn's in it. If Lynn wasn't in it, I probably wouldn't keep it. That's how much I love Lynn. It's a shame that I don't love Engage, because Lynn is the reason I would keep it, but I just can't. I can't play it again. It makes me sad because it was great having Lynn in a new game. Alas, Engage has problems. And despite the fact there's quite a few of the characters that managed to climb up here, I see at least 4 or 5. I can't submit myself to play through that game again. But Lynn is my favorite Fire Emblem character. I want her to be playable in Smash, not be an assist trophy. That is my hope for whatever Smash is next, that Lynn is a playable character. It won't happen, but I can wish. Petra is my second favorite Fire Emblem character. I adore Petra. She's very similar to Lynn in a lot of ways because they're both very outdoorsy, nature-driven characters. But I do love Petra's voice. I love the way she talks. I love the outside perspective she brings to things. I just think that Petra is a marvelous character, and I really want to have a pop-up parade figure of her. And I'm hoping that they get around to her sooner than later. I am a Black Eagles fan. If that isn't obvious by the fact that 4 of them are in this top row, I don't know what else to tell you. Edelgard is my favorite lord in Fire Emblem outside of Lynn. I think that Edelgard is an incredible character that has so much going on and is exquisitely well written. And if you have an issue with her, you're probably needing to look at yourself a little bit more closely, because you might be a sexist. Lucina used to be a little bit higher on this list. She could probably drop a little bit lower, in all honesty, but I do love Lucina. She was my second favorite Fire Emblem character for a while, and I love playing her in Smash. She's my preferred way to play that Marth archetype. I just think she's great. I love her design. I love her storyline. I think she's got the best plot line in Awakening. She's great in Warriors too, although she's very cloney in that game, but still, I think she's great. I do love the fact that she is the primary Engage representative. I think that was a good choice. But she's not as good as Petra or Edelgard. Marin, the best Engage character by so many miles. I love Marin, and it sucks that she's in Engage. I think she should have been in some other game because she's just so sick. She's such a sick character. I love her look. I love the fact she rides a wolf. I love the way that she battles. Her voice actress kills it. I love her design. Everything about Marin is top-notch. She's worth being in the top 5 Fire Emblem characters for me. And it makes me so sad she's in Engage. I really want her to be in a new Warriors game. When I was talking about Warriors a little while ago with the Switch 2 prediction speculation video, I was thinking of Marin. No lying, thinking about Marin. Dorothea. I was complaining a little bit earlier that I couldn't get the pop-up parade figure of her yet, and I still want it. I love Dorothea. Dorothea is theater kid, and I was a theater kid, so our energies are very similar. And I love Dorothea's just outlook on things. I think that she's just very much a lot of what I would be if I were in a Fire Emblem game and I was gender flipped. Cynthia. I have, for some wild reason, huge fandom for Cynthia. I love her energy in Awakening. I think she's a very good sister to Lucina, too. I really like her a lot. She's got spunk. She's silly, but she's also kind of a badass at the same time. So there's just something about Cynthia. I don't know what to say. All right, Severa. If I remember right, that is her original name. Severa and Selena? Yeah. This is entirely Kita. Kita's voice acting for these two characters is exquisitely good and made me love this character. If I didn't have that, they would probably be C tier at best. But because the way that Kita brought a whole new energy to these characters in the Awakening and Fates playthroughs where they appear, I adore these characters now. And I've actually drawn Serena. Severa. I see, I'm going to be mixing up their names. I've drawn Severa for that community because it was so good. So I gotta give huge props to Kita for actually making me like a character I didn't really care for before. Rinka is the best Fates character, and no one will ever take that away. I adore Rinka. She's just exactly what I would want out of a muscular barbarian archetype. She kicks ass, and I don't like the way she's written in a lot of ways in Fates, but her design is sick, and her voice actress is really good. And there's a couple moments that she has in Fates that is some of the better writing in that game, but she's stuck in Fates, and it makes me sad. Bernie! I love Bernie. Bernie is Anxiety the character, but it is one of the best written and executed versions of that archetype that I've ever seen in a video game. Three Houses is written extremely well, y'all. It's not perfect, but it is written extremely well. And Bernie is a casebook example of how well it's written. I love her. Claude. Claude is great. Claude is my second favorite Lord in Three Houses, and if we look here at all the other characters, I guess my fourth favorite Lord in the series. He's fantastic. I adore Claude. I think that he is a fantastic spin on that rogue trickster archetype that does get played out a bit with other characters, but Claude is just excellent. Another example of Three Houses having really good writing. Yunaka. Yunaka is the second best engaged character. And another one that I feel deserved to be in a better game. Because Yunaka's actually written the best in Engage, in my opinion. She's got the best writing. She's got the most intrigue and fascination in her storyline. She's an assassin that has gone through a really crappy life and is trying to reinvent herself in this colorful, over-the-top, flamboyant personality, but is hiding such a dark and troubled past. It's so well done. It makes me wish that every character in Engage was written as well as Yunaka was. It's a shame that that is not the case, and that we've only got four engaged characters that actually made it this high. The reason why Yunaka is not higher is because I do think that she's just not well served in this game. Her storyline does not fit the silly nonsense that Engage's plot is. She needed to be in a different game. Mei is my favorite Echoes character. I love Mei. She's the reason why I like Celica's route more than Alm's. She's just a delight. She's got a great personality. She's got a lot of humor when she's out in the battlefield. She's just got a lot of good energy. I like that. And I like her design a lot too. All right. We are getting into the assassin row here. Oh, I know your name. I hate the fact that I always forget Shamir's name. I don't know why. It's just not a name that I think of. I love Shamir though. God, Shamir is like the best character design in Three Houses for me. Like, it's my favorite color with teal. She's got just this really sick look about her. I like her haircut. She's got a fascinating backstory. I love Shamir. If she was perhaps a student versus an adult and had more connection with the cast, I probably would love her more. But because she's an adult and considered a teacher, she doesn't get that opportunity to engage with the rest of the Three Houses cast as much as I'd like. Which is to everyone's detriment, because Shamir is one of the best Fire Emblem characters. Oh, what is your name? Is it Jafar? Is it literally Jafar? It is Jafar. Jafar is the best character in Binding Blade. I always have to think about it. Outside of Lyn. And Nino is Y. These two have a really cool dynamic together. That makes Jafar actually turn against the Black Fang. Is that it? And join Elwood's party. And he's a really cool character design. And Nino is a really fascinating character. Maybe comes into the story a little bit too late, but is Sonia's daughter. And is a powerful magician in her own right growing up. And basically becomes like one of the best magicians you can have in your party. She's great, and the two of them have this nice interconnectivity together that I really like. So they're both pretty high on the list. Sophie is only here because of Kita. We had too much fun with poor Sophie, and we turned her into a literal horse girl. Or that she thought she was a horse girl. I don't even know anymore. Or that she could turn into a horse. I forget. But she just has a lot of the Cynthia energy. Just not as good. But I do like Sophie despite being like Cynthia Walmart brand. And I do love all the silly lore that we built up around her that just made her into a favorite, if I like that or not. Anna from Engage is the best Anna, no questions asked. She is adorable, just takes that whole merchant perspective that Anna's always had and just makes it the most capitalistic thing ever, but she's also like 10 or 12, and just it makes everything really fascinating and funny when she's around. I really love Anna in Engage. And again, I'm sad that this character's in Engage. I would have loved this Anna to be in Three Houses a lot more, personally. Oops, that's not what I meant. Delthea is a wild mage that joins Alm's half of Echoes. I don't remember much about Echoes. And it's probably obvious because there's only 2 Echoes characters up in this part of the list. I do remember loving her the most out of Alm's side, though. I think her writing's really fun because she's just really chaotic in the good way. And I think that she's great, and I love that archetype when it's done well. Annette, the best Blue Lion. No, I will not be taking questions. I don't like most of the Blue Lions. You'll notice that there's only 2 up in this upper part. Annette is my favorite. Annette is the daughter of Gilbert, who I was complaining vehemently about earlier. And she just overcomes so much to be independent and not relying on her father, as much as she would prefer to actually have a proper father figure in her life. She's also got like the best color scheme, I swear. Her promoted outfit in Three Houses and Three Hopes is phenomenal. I love them both. But she's probably, in terms of just aesthetic, my favorite looking Three Houses character. I love the colors that they picked for her. And I also like a lot of her personality, and her voice actress kills it. So Annette is great, and I would love to have a pop-up parade of her instead of Sylvain. Blue Lions. Lysynthia. I love Lysynthia. I think she's fantastic and is an interesting character because she starts in Yellow Deer, or Golden Deer, I should say. She starts in Golden Deer, but it really should be a Black Eagle, because she has a lot of ties with Edelgard. And she's one of the younger characters, but she's doing so much to try to overcome what has happened to her because she has limited time because of the experiments. And she wants to be viewed as older than she is, so she's got kind of this complex. But she is genuinely still very childish. And I think that she really grows into being a very fascinating character by the time the post-skip happens. So Lysynthia is a favorite, and I'm very glad that she was the first pop-up parade for Golden Deer for the supporting cast. Shez, the Three Hopes character. Wow. I did not expect to like Shez as much as I did. I don't think anyone expected Shez to be such a remarkable character, because if you compare Three Hopes to the original Warriors, the 2 new characters that they added to that game, one I think I plopped in D tier, which is her, and then the boy I shoved down here because I don't like him. Shez is everything right about adding in a new character into an established character group and letting them run free. Shez's personality is fantastic. Voice acting is perfect. The writing is phenomenally well done. Three Houses is not as tightly written as Three Hopes. Nope, other way around. Three Hopes is not written as well as Three Houses. But I think Shez is better written than Byleth, which is why Byleth is a lot lower on the list. As much as I love Byleth, and I will be getting a Papa Parade of her at some point, I think Shez is the better protagonist character. And I really like Shez, and I grew to really love her outfit and her costume and the way that she fights. She's a really good character. I really like her. Tamara, the last of the Engage cast we'll be talking about today. Really good character. Another theater kid. But Tamara's the trying too hard theater kid that doesn't really have the talent, unlike Dorothea, who has a lot of talent, but doesn't care. She's going to give 1,000% even if she can't sing. And I love that about her. I love her energy. I love her outfit, which is so colorful and just fun. Tamara's a fun character, and that's what Engage needed a lot more of. It needed to lean more into that silliness that its entire plot line was, and too much of it's trying to take it seriously. Tamara's there to tell you no. I love her for it. I forget how to pronounce your name. Remind me what your name is. Kajel. I love Kajel a lot. She is Soli's daughter, and she is a full-on knight. One of the first in the series, outside of Amelia, who's down, I think, in the A or B tier, that I have run into, and my favorite of the archetype. Jade is real close, because she's also in that archetype, but I think Kajel is just a little bit more interesting, well-written, a really good awakening child character. One that I just really like a lot. And it's funny to me how I don't really care that much for most of the adult characters in Awakening. In fact, I'm looking through the list and there's only one who made it up this high. But the kids are great. Lucina and Cynthia and Severa and now Kajel. I really like the kids in Awakening a lot. So that's that. Hubert is one of my favorite male characters in Three Houses, and when we look at the actual number of male characters up here, we have Claude, Jafar, and then Hubert. And then we have Wrath, I think is this character's name here. I'll have to remind myself. And that's about it. A lot of the men in Fire Emblem I'm not huge on in terms of being favorites. But Hubert is just an excellently written, sinister first officer archetype that's going to do whatever it takes to achieve the goals that are needed to have Edelgard win. There is nothing off the table. And the voice actor leans so much into that. The character design leans so well into it. He's just great. I love Hubert because all that he does, as deplorable as it is for Edelgard's success. And he can be persuaded to not go that hard if the reasoning can overpower his logic. And there is a couple times where Byleth pulls that on him, and even Shez pulls it on him, and he's like, okay, I will trust your judgment, but if you fail me, I will remember it. And you might not get that opportunity to do that again. There's only one Sacred Stones character up in my S tier, and that's Marissa. I think Marissa is a fantastic character in Sacred Stones, and I don't like too many of the characters of Sacred Stones all that much. I don't think a lot of them are memorable. I'm even looking down a bit into the A tier, and I'm only seeing like 3 or 4 that are immediately jumping out to me. Marissa's my favorite, though. She was a Myrmidon that really served me well in my playthrough of Sacred Stones. And I just think she's got one of the better character designs, better written characters. She's just great. Titania is our Path of Radiance rep, basically, for this tier. There's 2 more that made it up this high. But Titania is my favorite. She is the best starting paladin in the series. Nobody else comes close to being as good as Titania is in terms of design and attitude and just badass vibes than Titania. She's a character that I actually would want to use past the beginning, which I cannot say about any other paladin in the series. It's a Mercedes. Mercedes is a character that I really like. I would love her more if she was a little less pious. But I think she's an excellent foil for Annette, and she ended up being one of the in the Golden Deer run. I think that was who I ended up having Byleth get into a relationship with. I think was Mercedes, and then Dorothea is the other time. I still haven't done an Edelgard run, oddly enough. That'll be the next run for sure. But I love a lot about Mercedes. I think that I really love her Three Hopes redesign, though. The post-skip design for Mercedes is not my favorite. I don't really like the hat. But I do think she's a phenomenally well-written character that has a lot going on with her that I really like. Valk from Binding Blade. This is my favorite Wyvern rider for the most part. I don't think there's another Wyvern rider ahead of her. And she's a very cool character in Binding Blade. I don't remember too much more about her personality beyond just being confident in her ability. But I just really like her design. Her design really stands out. And she was a really important part of my army. So that's why she's up this high. Marianne. Marianne's seen some shit, y'all. She's one of the best written characters in Three Houses. She doesn't steal anything from Bernie because they're very similar in some ways. They're both extremely shy, but they play out differently despite both of them having gone through severe trauma. And I really like Marianne. She became like one of my strongest characters in my Golden Deer run. Like she was, I made her into a sword class instead of a mage class. And she just was like ripping shit apart. It was kind of ludicrous how good my Marianne was. I think she was my best unit in that Golden Deer run. Like, I would just throw her out there and not worry about her. That's why I think she's here in the S peak tier instead of in the high A's. Because I do prefer Bernie a little bit more. But I do like Marianne a lot too. My trap-written character, whose name I can't remember, Setsuna. One of the best Fates characters, by far. I really like Setsuna a lot. I wish that her archetype trope was not I fall into traps all the time, because that just basically wrote her into a hole. Her personality and her just snark, though, overcomes that a lot, and I do think she's one of the stronger character designs as well. I really like her general look a lot in Fates, and I don't like most of the designs in Fates. I just wish she wasn't in traps in every single support practically that she has with somebody. It gets a little old. Otherwise she probably would be higher, to be honest. Nafini. I haven't played a lot of Path of Radiance. I just like Nafini's character design. I haven't got a chance to really interact with her a ton, because I didn't get that far. But I really like her character design. So that's why she's up at this level, is because I think she's one of my favorite soldier types in the entire series. Oh, I forgot your name. Pawn. Pawn is my favorite of the... I don't really know what to call them, because they change their names in all the games. A character that can turn into an animal, we'll just say. I love her writing. I think she's got really good writing, and there's aspects of her design I don't love as much, but I do really like her writing, and she's one of the stronger awakening characters. I just think that she's a really cool execution. I would not have picked Giant Rabbit as my beast choice in a game, but they ran with it and made it work. So, kudos to Awakening for making that happen. Happy is my favorite of the Ashen Wolves. In a lot of ways, I wish she was higher on this list, because I really like so much about her. But there's things I just could not, for the life of me, get a single one of her prompts right in Three Houses or in Three Hopes. I just can't read this character. And I think that's why she's down as low as she is on the S peak tier, is because I don't know her. Despite loving so much about her, I feel like I just can't peg her down. Because she always goes the opposite of what I would think. But I do love the way that she approaches the world and how she views things. I think that her curse of breathing out monsters when she sighs is something that I have never heard of before and is very unique. And I like her design quite a bit too. I don't like her post skip as much in Three Houses, but I like it a lot in Three Hopes, if I remember correctly. Byleth. Byleth is the best silent protagonist, quote unquote silent protagonist, we've had in a Fire Emblem game. I like them the most. I think that they managed to thread the characterization needle just enough to give Byleth something to work from, especially in Three Hopes, where she is not the main character. But in Three Houses, there's enough flexibility that you can really apply quite a bit of yourself into that character. And I like that a lot. I unabashedly love F. Byleth. I don't care for male Byleth. So I will never pick male Byleth for anything. And I'm disappointed to this day that Smash and Engage both thought male Byleth should have been the default. To this day. The only game that got it right was Three Hopes. So I love Byleth. I had to resist the expensive ass statue, but thankfully the pop-up paraded is definitely more my speed. I will never forgive Nintendo for not making an amiibo of female Byleth. I am still salty about it. Wrath. I like Wrath a lot. I think as one of the nomadic people in the same tribe as Lynn, I think that he's a good counterbalance. He's also got a horse early on, which is kind of a huge deal, especially for an archer, because there's a lot of mobility there that you don't normally have with archers in Fire Emblem. And he's a pretty cool design, too. I don't remember much about his personality other than being stoic. Selkie. Selkie would probably be C tier if it wasn't for Kita. Again, bringing her A game and voice acting to a character that I probably wouldn't have put much thought or investment into. But just making those lines really fun and just bringing a lot of energy into the character that it needed. So Selkie is a favorite of Fate's. We have 3, 4? 3. 1, 2, 4. 4 Fate's characters that managed to make it. And almost all of them are because of Kita. Lythe, we'll just say. Another character in Path of Radiance that I haven't got a chance to really do a whole lot with, but I do like her character design a lot. Like, a lot. And I like cats, so I would naturally like a cat-based transformation character. Minerva, the only Shadow Dragon character that made it up this high. And it's because she's just a sick-looking design. It's all that it is. I never saw her in Shadow Dragon because I never got that far in Shadow Dragon to actually have her appear. And I did buy the DLC for Warriors, but I haven't played it all that much. So Minerva is a great character design and a fantastic wyvern. I think she's a wyvern rider. I'm trying to remember. I think she is. I'm just going to say she is because I don't remember. I just like her character design. And then this is, what's her name? It is Jill. Jill is another Path of Radiance character. I got to the map that you get her, and that's where I've stopped twice. But I like her character design, and I like her personality based on what I remember of it. That's what I can say. All right. Well, now instead of having a gigantic sort video that was probably 2 hours long, we've got a much more condensed video just talking about my favorites and least favorites. And getting into my very personal Fire Emblem opinions. We got pretty deep into them in this one. All right, there you have it. Big list. This will be the last list video for a little while. Like I was saying earlier, I want to not just be doing lists all the time. As fun and as straightforward as they can be. I've got a few review videos I'd like to do, and plus there's all the Switch 2 news that will be happening, not when I recorded this, but after. By the time you see it is when this is going up. So we'll have plenty of non-list stuff for you in the near future. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful set of days until the next one, and take care.